Yeah, so you had your little cards, you had wet on wet technique, whatever colors you wanted to do, whatever kind of designs. You could literally hold your paper to the sides and let it drain, like drip down. So I did a few different colors. I did like a greens and yellows, and then blues and greens, and then on one of mine I added even just a little bit of purple. And basically once those are completely dry, you're basically just cutting these up into different size triangles. Okay, so they can be small, perfect triangle, more right-sided triangle, one that's really sharp and pointy. And then I did have you take like a 12 by 18 sheet of paper, which is like this size. But after I started cutting these out, and it depends on your design too of how big you cut your triangles, but then I also have an 18 by 24 sheet out there, which is a little bit bigger and helps kind of fit more triangles and kind of more of a design to it. And so what I started visualizing when I started to cut these out is I kind of want to do a wave, or kind of like a swoop down. And so I started cutting these, and as I made my little piles, I started fitting these into different little spots of where I want them to go. And after I get a little ways and I'm like, yep, that's I like that look, I can get a glue stick and start gluing those down so they stay. Okay. The one thing I'm gonna say is this project can stay in the classroom. This doesn't have to go home, so you're not like trying to carry all these little triangles back and forth. We can leave it on the shelf, and we'll work on it next week and get it completely finished next week in class before the end of the quarter. So I'm gonna just keep, as I have cut these, laying these out in some type of design. And if I have separate colors, how do I want those colors to blend into the next, or how do I want it to shape to the next, is kind of what I'm working on as I lay this out. And after I lay it out and I'm like, oh, I don't even like that one color, I could grab another sheet and repaint a color that maybe would fit a little bit better if need be. But otherwise, as I have my little pile of triangles, I want to kind of create that, my little swoop kind of down and up is my thought for my design. With this, it's absolutely wide open of what you can use as a design and what you want it to look like. Okay, so it's gets to be a little abstract, but it's pretty fun, wide open idea. And you're just taking your colors, your little sheets, and cutting them up and creating a whole new image into them. Okay, and then once I get, like I said, once you get them where you want them to be, start to glue them down. And I typically get maybe like another sheet of paper. Oh geez. Another sheet of paper that I can put on my desk, or even just on my artwork here, and that's where I glue, or I put glue on. I do not want all this extra glue all over your big project. So grab a separate sheet of drawing paper or scrap paper, and where I glue that stuff is where I will put my triangles that I want to glue on, so my excess glue stays there and not ruining my project or all over the desk. It just helps with cleanup, or less messy, I guess, in a sense. So, questions on any of that? So again, you can use the 12 by 18 if you make your square or your triangles a little smaller. otherwise, if you want like a bigger design, I do have a big sheet 18 by 24 up here that you can work with as well. Okay, and I'll keep plugging away at mine so you're able to see.